I mean, why would I want to use macOS? I think it's probably worse than Windows. Aren't there more restrictions? I don't even know what macOS looks like anyway, or how you use it. I don't know how to use it.
Let me show you macOS real quick.
Don't use Debian. What are you using? Debian? No.
No, I use macOS.
But you commented on my Linux channel. I thought you was a Linux user like me. You're not a Linux user.
No, I use Linux.
You're a Linux user. I thought you was using Linux like us.
It is Debian 12, bookworm.
Well, that's an old version. You need to update. That's old stable. You need to upgrade now. You need to upgrade to Debian ptyxis. Why haven't you upgraded it?
Hey, Andrea, and I've heard a lot of people that say that Debian is a legacy distro and that it only has old packages. Would you say that is true?
Well, not Debian ptyxis. I think they've changed a lot. I think it maybe was true in past versions. Learn Linux TV, but he's got nothing but praise for Fedora. I personally hate Fedora 43. Fedora 43 is unusable, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work.
But I think...
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm lucky with X11. I don't want it to go. I want to stay on X11. I don't want Wayland because Wayland doesn't work. I don't like popos. I think it's overrated. I mean, on my laptops, I got different desktop environments. This one's got GNOME flashback. Laptop's got Budgie. The pink lap, and then another advert plays. It's getting ridiculous now. It's getting frigging ridiculous. You know, the adverts are just nothing but annoying. It drives me mad. I hate them.
And do you want to share with us, what do you do for a living, or you want to keep that private?
A Debian, Ubuntu, or a Debian-based operating system. The thing is, with Ubuntu, the only thing is you have to have snaps, don't you?
What do you think about Gentoo and the Furries? Have you seen the Furries? There's a lot of Linux users that wear these suits.
And I didn't even know that you wasn't a Linux user until you told me. I just assumed that you did use Linux. Because
I scammed you. So you got scammed.
I think I saw you on DistroTube because I was watching DistroTube and you did an interview with a Mac user. I think that was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was me.
If you're listening to this as a podcast, remember that it was originally recorded as a video. If you're not following along, you can go to my YouTube channel. My username is Linkarzu. And if you want to support me to keep this podcast going, you can donate in Ko-fi. I'm going to leave a link in the description. All right, so let's get started with this chapter then.
Are you ready to start?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, start.
Let's go. Okay, so hey everyone, I have Andrea Borman here with me today. Is that how you pronounce it? Andrea Borman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Borman, yeah. Borman, that is how you pronounce it, definitely, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for joining us, Andrea. How are you doing tonight?
Well, as you know, a bit about myself. Well, I used to use Windows, I started my computer life pretty much the same as what everybody else did. I started with Windows XP, and, you know, I first found out about how to use a computer. Believe it or not, I learned from the person sitting next to me in the internet cafe. Well, he was also, you know, helping out in the shop as well, in an internet cafe in a shopping centre in London. And the computers were Windows XP, and that's where I started. But it was another year before I learned to do email. And then in 2010, when I moved here, I got my own computer. The first computer was a netbook with Windows 7. So I'm was Windows 7 and Windows XP user and used Windows Vista. And how I came to Linux was, my story is the same pretty much the same as everybody else's. I love Windows 7, Windows XP and Windows Vista, but then everything changed when Microsoft introduced Windows 8. It had no start menu. It had the retro theme. But I tried to make the best of it. I installed this software called Classic Shell, which is supposed to bring back the Windows 7 start menu. But then, because I was running it on a netbook, I always ran 32-bit Windows, never 64-bit on these netbooks. It came with Windows 7 Starter that I would install my own upgrade to Windows 7 Home Premium, or install a clean install of Windows with Home Premium and Windows 8. But with Windows 8, I found I was stuck on it because I couldn't upgrade to Windows 8.1 because you had to do that through the Microsoft Store. And because I was running Windows 8 on a netbook, you can't run Metro apps on a netbook. So I was stuck on Windows 8.0. couldn't upgrade to Windows 8.1. I did try the RTM version of Windows 8.1 that was better, but it was only valid for, was it 3 months, and then it expired, so I had to go back to Windows 8, because you can use it for so many days without activation. I think it's 3 months, and then after that I think you can press the rearm command, but another 3 months, and then, but I mean, after that it expires, and then all the features, the screen turns black and the features disappear, so then you have to do your reinstall, don't you? Or go back to what you was using them. Anyway, I was using Windows 8 for years and years. I did use Linux on and off, because in 2010, when I had Windows 7, my first operating system was Linux Mint 9, GNOME edition, which is very much like my GNOME Flashback, except it had the Mint Men. It's a bit like it was like the Mate desktop. Well, exactly like the Mate desktop, because the Mate desktop is a clone of what is it? Linux of GNOME 2, isn't it? The Mate desktop is a clone of GNOME 2. Even the file manager on the Mate desktop, Kazaa, is a clone of the old Nautilus, isn't it? But anyway, I started on Linux Mint 9, but I wasn't serious about switching, so I was using Windows 7, and then I kept Linux Mint on a separate computer, which sort of wasn't using very much. And I did have one computer that I bought in 2015 that was 64-bit, and I installed Linux Mint 17, but that was XFC. But I mostly use it for playing with VirtualBox, and I was silly enough to install Wine and Internet Explorer 6. Why I did that, I don't know. Not a very good thing to do on Linux, is it? Because it's still but and then I was still using Windows 8 and Windows 7, and then over the course of time, Windows 8 got very, very slow. Even when they ended support for Windows 7, I don't know when they ended it, was it 2020 or something? I kept on using it. And then after a time, they stopped supporting the Firefox web browser and the web browser and a lot of software for Windows 7, and they did the same for Windows 8. But things got worse on Windows 8 because it was getting slower and slower and slower. I wasn't able to do basic things. I would go onto a website and the adverts would just make it crash. I'd be in the middle of doing something on the website, even shopping online, and the whole thing would crash. So I thought to myself, well, I didn't want to use Linux before because I had this thing, you have to log in with a password, but then don't you have to do that on Windows 11?
Yeah.
No, you do.
Yeah.
I thought, well, what if I were to try Linux Mint? Because you don't really, most people, they don't really put a serious password in. They get around the password thing by putting in a 2-letter password or a 1-letter password like yes and no, or a password you're going to forget, because you're supposed to have a password on Linux. But a lot of people just put the 2-letter password in and use a word they'll never forget, like 1, 2, or no, yes or no.
Or 1, 1.
Yeah, that way. I mean, on Windows 11, you can't even log in without a Microsoft account. I mean, when there was ending support for Windows 7 and 8, was either upgrade to Windows 10 or 11, which I didn't want to do, or try Linux. So on my 64-bit computer, I thought, what if I tried Linux Mint? Because all the software's there. Because I said to myself, look, all I want to do is, use the websites and do email and go on the websites. And I can't do any of those things on Windows 8 because it's constantly crashing. And Google Chrome's no longer supported now on Windows. They were dropping support for Google Chrome on Windows 8, and they did the same for Firefox, and they did the same with Windows 7. So if I stayed on there, it's using an outdated browser. So I tried Linux Mint XFC, I think it was 20.3, and I liked it. And then after that, I decided to try KDE. I installed KDE on Linux Mint, the Ubuntu desktop, and I removed the XFC. But I still, the only thing was, the one thing that was putting me back was Linux had, by this time, this was 2022. Most Linux operating systems have stopped support for 32-bit computers. I still have my 32-bit netbooks. Most of them I never use because I was going through this phrase about this silly thing of stocking up on Windows 7 computers so I won't get stuck with Windows 8, because I bought them about 10 years before, at a time when I didn't know how to install operating system, because I started out with very limited experience on computers. If you read my post on the forum, on the Windows forums and that, you'll see. But I gradually learned. I think I taught myself, or I just learned on the web. And then, anyway, what's it? So,
and what do your friends?
Debian was 32-bit, so I tried putting Debian on my netbooks. I tried Sparky Linux, but I soon realised that no matter what I did, even though it was a 32-bit operating system, because the netbooks were very, very slow, because a netbook made for Windows 7 starter, I mean, I was constantly being told on the Windows forums, even as far back as in 2012, that the reason why I was having problems with Windows 8 is because I was running it on a netbook, and that I should get a full computer instead. Even if it's 32-bit, get a full well, most computers, you can either run 32-bit or 64-bit, but most operating systems are 64-bit. But I never used the 64-bit Windows. I used 32-bit because that's what they had, you know. But
Let me ask you something.
Windows 10 was Windows 10 Technical Preview when it came out in beta. I think they made a slight improvement because you could use Metro apps on netbooks, but I didn't like Windows 10 because you had to have automatic updates. You couldn't choose to install updates manually or disable updates so that you could check for them when you want them and install when you want them. And some of the things, they were taking more features out that were in Windows 7. So I stuck with Windows 8 for this reason. But I wasn't even using the right version of Windows 8 because Windows 8.0 was only supported for a short time. And then you're supposed to upgrade to Windows 8.1, aren't you, I think? But I didn't do that. Or I couldn't do that because I was running it on a netbook and you had to upgrade through the Microsoft Store. You couldn't upgrade through Windows Update. And the Microsoft Store is a Metro app which doesn't work on netbooks. This is yeah.
Oh,
So I don't think I was doing Windows in the right way.
I have a question for you, Andrea.
Yeah.
What do people that know you think, or what do they say when you tell them that you're using Linux? Like, are you trying to...
They already know because they watch my YouTube videos. They already know because they see my videos. They already know, don't they?
Oh, so you're pretty famous around your friends, right?
My YouTube channel is, I've got Linux. If you look at my early videos, the early videos are about Windows. The early videos about Windows XP, Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows Vista. But my later videos, the videos that I've been doing for the past, nearly 2 years, are about Linux. I started using Linux in 2022, but I didn't start making videos about it until last year. Oh, where are we? Where have we gone? Oh, here we are.
Yep, here we are in your channel. Yep. Let's look at the oldest videos.
I've been learning the power of virtual machines with Virt Manager. I've installed Virt Manager because VirtualBox, which used to work in previous versions of Linux, doesn't work. Fedora 43, it happens, it's the worst operating system I've tried. I'm not just bashing Fedora and trying to say that. It is. Nothing works in Fedora. I tried it in Live CD on my laptop, which is a good testing ground. I didn't install it. It didn't work. And I didn't just try the buggy spin. I tried others as well.
Okay, so Fedora...
The package manager, DNF Dragora, the graphical package manager, don't work, does it?
Oh.
You see? You look at the video, you see.
And what do you think about Arch?
I've never used it, but I think I tried to install it. I think I downloaded the disk and tried to install it. It was all command line, so I didn't get very far. Couldn't do anything. And then I think I tried it out in Arch in something called distro C. And even when you use it in distro C, you have to enter commands. Well, there's been talk of malware in the OR. It's happened several times this year, hasn't it? So, so I mean, I don't think Arch is... I mean, if there's malware on Arch in the OR, then it's because I think any user can upload to the OR, but on Debian and Ubuntu, they don't allow that because only the maintainers of Debian and Ubuntu are allowed to put software in the repositories. You can install your own software on your own computer, but you can't add to their repositories unless you're a developer on Debian and Ubuntu. But in Arch, it seems to be different, doesn't it? Yeah, these are my old... Yeah, I was trying to make Windows 8 behave like Windows XP. Maybe that was a mistake. You're not really supposed to. It's not something they recommend, is it?
Okay.
System. It's not something they really recommend, is it?
Yeah, these are the old videos. 7 years ago. I see here 7 years ago. How long ago did you start?
They go as far back as 2009.
2009. When did you start? Why did you start a YouTube channel, Andrea?
Well, I just liked it. A lot of people were doing it. It started out for fun, and then I started Oh, I did get. Oh, yeah, they didn't like my views on the Windows forums. On a Windows forum, they hate it when you tell them you don't use antivirus software. They don't like, and they didn't like me back in Windows 8. I got into trouble for calling Windows 8 Nightmares preview because when they had Windows 8 Consumer Preview, they took away the Start menu, and I was saying it's more Windows 8 Nightmares preview. But everybody on the Windows forum was saying how wonderful Windows 8 and how better it is and all that, and I couldn't see it. I like Windows 7 and Windows XP, but they changed everything in Windows 8. I mean, it didn't have a start. I mean, on Linux, you look at the operating systems on Linux, the desktop. You look at Cinnamon, Mate, GNOME, Flashback, KDE, XFC, even LXD and LXQT. They've all got that traditional start menu, yet on Windows, it's ironic that on Linux we have the traditional start menu that we're used to, and but on Windows 11, my two new, I got rid of my netbooks now. I just want to tell you, I got rid of those 32-bit netbooks. I haven't got them anymore. I threw them out. Well, the battery stopped working anyway, so I had to use it with the plug-in charger, so they were very, very old.
Oh, yeah.
And also, they're no use anyway, because the netbooks only run 32-bit, and there isn't any Linux that's 32-bit. Debian were the last ones to support 32-bit, but now in Debian ptyxis, there's no more 32-bit. So if you've got a 32-bit computer, then you have to buy a new computer because they don't support I would never be able to run Linux on those netbooks because they don't support 64-bit. A Windows 7 starter netbook does not support 64-bit. Full stop. It doesn't, does it?
And what is your favorite distro then? Debian?
Yeah, it is now. I started off with Linux Mint, but the thing is with Linux Mint is they don't have a minimum install because Linux Mint is a very good desktop, but the software it comes with, like Celluloid and the other media players, I don't like that. I like VLC, and I don't necessarily want a full Office suite. I might just want to use Abbey Word. On Windows, you had something like WordPad, you have a Paint program, and what else do you have? Notepad. Well, to get that on Linux, install Abbey Word, the equivalent of Notepad, install one of the Paint programs like Drawing or Cola Paint or Xpaint, but there's many Paint programs. Install Gedit for your Notepad text editor, and Genumeric to read spreadsheets, and for your PDF viewer, Evans or Actual or something like that. But LibreOffice is like Microsoft Office, but if you're not doing a lot of Office work, then installing the individual programs like Abbey Word, Genumeric, and Evans and Gedit is fine.
Do you miss?
They never seem to come with a Paint program. They always forget the Paint program, don't they? On Windows,
Yeah.
always have to install the Paint program. Oh, Linux comes with a Paint program. It comes with Drawing.
Oh, do you miss any?
Linux Mint comes with Drawing. Linux Mint comes with Drawing.
Oh, awesome. Do you miss anything on Windows?
No. Well, all of the software we had on Windows is all on Linux, isn't there? Because there's a Linux version of Firefox, there's a Linux version of Google Chrome, a Linux version of Chromium, although most people on Windows use Google Chrome, but there's a Linux version of everything, Thunderbirds. Well, LibreOffice, it's the free version of Office. You can use that on Windows. I never used Microsoft Office because you've got to pay for it. The old versions of Microsoft Office were very old ones with the CD key, but that was just for fun. You wouldn't use Microsoft Office 97 for your day-to-day task, would you, on Windows? That was just for fun. I installed that on Windows 8. But I had to buy new laptops. The sacrifice I made was I had to get rid of my 32-bit netbooks because they were no good for Linux because they only ran 32-bit. So I bought I bought a new laptop. What did I buy? But it came with Windows 11. So I logged into it because I thought I had to, but I took one look at it and I hated it. It was like Windows 8. Couldn't find where the start menu was. Oh, it was worse than Windows 8 because I had to create a Microsoft account that I knew that I wasn't going to use just to log into it because it wouldn't let me set it up without the Microsoft account. Well, shall I show you my laptops that I got? Do you want to see them?
Oh yeah, of course I want to see them.
From
You
the
have them
drawer.
there?
I'm sure I got this one. You can't see that because well, I don't know if you can see it. So I'll just move the camera. An old one, isn't it?
Yeah, I see it. I can see it a little bit.
The back of it, and maybe you can't. Here.
Oh yeah, I see it. An HP,
It's one of the
right?
older laptops. Well, where we go? I'll just go and get my new get laptops just to show you an example. The new laptop that I bought.
All right. We'll be waiting here.
I'm just on the outside of the room. It's just this is the new laptop that I bought 2 years ago. It's 125 gigabytes. It's the trouble is it's got a built-in battery, so if it hangs, you can't switch it off. You press the button and you can't. Normally you can pull the battery out to turn it off, but you can't. But yeah, they're not as good as the old laptops, are they? This had Windows 11, which can run Debian and all of the modern apps. I can use the built-in webcam because it's more modern. It works better with the built-in webcam. So this is nice. But it's only 125 gigabyte hard drive, so it's not a very big hard drive, is it? Not as big as what I'd like.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right, though. It does the. And what else have we got? I got 4 laptops. Obviously, I've only sold the others out. One. Here. This is one I've had. This is the laptop that I did my first install of Linux Mint on, which I've had since 2014. It had 64-bit Windows 8 1.
Okay, you still use it?
Well, yes, it's got Debian with the budgie desktop.
Okay.
It did have Debian SID on it, but I'm gone back to Debian stable now. So, but you see, this like the other one is an older laptop. You can remove the battery, and I think for Linux, the older laptops are better because the new laptops, it's like touch and go. It's like touching. Oh, it's like where are we? It's like touching. It's like touch and go because it's like touch and go because you don't know if they're going to run Linux or not. Some of the very new laptops don't because you have to wait for Linux to update. But the older laptops, you know they're going to because they're slightly older. So the slightly older laptops are better for running the Linux, aren't they? And where's the other one? Let's send it the other one.
Okay. So you have an Apple
The other one
too?
got the operating system on it because it had Debian SID. I clean wipe the drive, and I'm good. And that'll probably have Debian stable on it with this.
Oh, okay.
It's old but good. The built-in webcam doesn't work on. You see, the 2 laptops I got, this one and the blue one, was a reconditioned laptop I bought in the shop. It was reconditioned, refurnished.
Okay.
If you can see it, I'm not holding it up to the camera very well, am I?
Oh, I can see it.
And it's nice. It's pink. No, it's a nice colour as well,
Nice
isn't it?
color. Yep.
And you can pull the battery out. The battery comes out there. Let's put them in the drawer so we don't damage them. We're going to put them away. They don't sell that. The laptop I'm using now, which I'm making this recording, they don't sell the laptops anymore, but they only sell the laptop which was like the first one, with the flimsy ones, which are not very good, are they? They're not very good, are they?
The build quality is not the same, right?
But the older laptops work better with the plug-in webcam because the built-in webcam's not very good. The pink one, the webcam for some reason doesn't work. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, they work. The older laptops perform Linux runs better because sometimes when you buy a brand new laptop, you don't know if it's going to run Linux on it because it's built for Windows 11, and the brand new don't always. Oh, can I tell you something? When I first bought a new laptop, I didn't read the small print. I didn't realise that the hard drive was only 64-bit, and so it used to fill up very quickly. So if you install snaps and Flatpaks, and even if you don't, I got rid of that one. 64. Hey. Why are they selling laptops for 64-bit hard drive? It's stupid, isn't it? How can you run Windows 11 on them, which must take up more space? Yeah. I don't understand that.
You cannot. Why do you have so many laptops? Like, do you like...
Oh. Well, maybe. I suppose you do need to. Well, I suppose you don't need more than 2. Maybe in case one of them breaks or something gets broken.
That's a backup.
Well, you probably just need 2, don't you, in case one breaks. But I don't have a smartphone. I don't use a smartphone.
Oh, no? Just laptops?
Well, I'll show you my mobile phone if you hold. Just hold it. I'll go and get it.
Okay.
Oh, this is my mobile phone.
Oh, okay. One of the classic ones, right?
Well, I can receive phone calls and text messages, but I certainly can't stand. Oh, I had a problem with eBay because eBay is no good now. Every time you try to log into eBay, you get locked out of your account because I have I have a dynamic IP that keeps changing, so I have to phone to get back into my account. And so they said you can do verification with your mobile, but you can only do it by scanning the QR with your smartphone, and as I can't do the impossible because I don't have a smart. These stupid. I've given up on eBay. These stupid websites. I've not. It's like Facebook. Every time I logged in, they put me on 2-tier authentication, and I had to verify with my mobile. But
Yeah, you
that
cannot.
was a QR code. I had to, because I don't get a signal in here because I'm in a block of flats. I had to put this on a window ledge, and it would call my mobile number. And I got sick of Facebook because of that, and also it wasn't very good, so I just deleted my account. And with eBay, if you want to verify with your mobile, you can only do that by scanning with your QR code. So every time I log into eBay, I have to phone up customer service advisors from my landline, and they have to ring me back in order to get back in my account. So how am I supposed to use I'm glad they don't have that on YouTube, or I'd never get any. I don't know why these websites cause so many problems. Maybe they don't want us to log into their website. You think they're trying to log us out deliberately, perhaps? It's stupid, isn't it? Don't you think some of these websites
And
I spoke to the woman on the phone. I've got 4 computers. I've got a rolling IP address, which is a dynamic. They said you should get a static one. It's not safe to get a static IP. Our internet service provider gives everyone dynamic IP through. What a stupid thing to say,
And
I don't want to. You should be able to log into a website without having to jump through hoops like this. It's just ridiculous. You can verify with your email address, even with Google, even with Gmail, you can verify with your mobile phone. And
yeah,
I can't log into eBay. I can't do shopping on eBay now because there's a problem with getting into the website. Every time I want to get in, I get locked out saying it's been blocked, and I have to ring customer service advisors and speak to a customer service advisor. They're very nice to unblock me. So it's another web.
and
It's annoying, isn't it? Have you had that problem?
I have a smartphone. Do you have something against smartphones? You don't like them, or why
No.
do you?
I don't even know how to use a smartphone. Once one of my neighbours knocked on my door. She bought a new smartphone, and I said to her, "Well," she asked me to help her use it. I said, "Well, where's the keyboard? Because it doesn't have a keyboard."
Yeah. It's horrible. Yep.
And I couldn't help her. I don't know how to use a smartphone. If I've got a computer, if I've got laptops, I don't have a computer because I'm in a flat, because computer you can't move about. But I've got laptops. But if I've got laptops, why do I need a smartphone to get online when I've got a laptop? And you can when I used to go on holiday a lot and stay in hotels, I used to take my laptop to hotels and connect to their public Wi-Fi. But you can still do that with Linux because I've got wireless broadband, so I can still connect to public Wi-Fi in coffee shops or in hotels, and I can take my laptop to a hotel and I can still do that, can't I, with Linux? Because it's got Wi-Fi.
Yep.
I've got firewall, which is a GUFW. I may have to disable the firewall because firewall. I think you have to. I think I should leave the firewall turned on if I'm using public network. But what I'm saying is, you can do everything with Linux, and what you could do with Windows 7. So, I can't use Windows 7 now. That's out, isn't it? It's end of life.
Yep, it's end of life. Yep.
Windows 11, I don't even know how to use. I couldn't even navigate where the start menu was, could I? Couldn't even find any of the
But if you're already on Linux, going to Windows would feel like a downgrade.
I'll never thought about Windows 11. When I first bought my computer, I didn't even have a full operating system because when I bought my computer, it had Windows 11. It was called S mode, where you were restricted mode, where you was and. They had instructions to get out of S mode, which didn't work. I was glad to just wipe it off my computer and install Linux Mint because it came with Windows 11. These laptops came with Windows 10, but I didn't bother to boot. Well, maybe they put it on there, whoever sold it. I bought it from 2 second hand. They've got a shop where we live, and it's got reconditioned computers and things. The 2 reconditioned computers, I bought them from there. Reconditioned laptops, which were HP. And I had Windows 10, which presumably the shop installed, but I still use a DVD. I'm still doing it the old-fashioned way, but maybe I should learn to use a USB drive. Oh, what's happening to your picture?
Oh, there we go. I don't know. Something happened to my computer. And let me ask you something, Andrea.
Smartphone, but do we need a smartphone if we got a computer? We got a computer. Well, what would I mean? How can you view things and view things online with a tiny phone? I mean, isn't using a laptop better?
Yeah, it is, but the way that society is built now, they want to have us connected all the time. It's bad. It's bad
Well,
for
no,
us.
smartphone. I mean, when I tell them I haven't got a smartphone, I mean, I've not been forced to have a smartphone anywhere. I mean, they're changing me to something called digital voice, and I told them I haven't got a smartphone. But I mean, they said, fine. Well, I mean, my internet service provider is for my broadband, so I can use a computer, laptop. The only difference is that my landline is going to plug into my router. It won't plug into the phone socket in the wall. These copper lines where the phone line separate from the internet. Now it's going to be together. I think you plug it into your router, something like this. But they're coming to change it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, that has nothing to do with smartphone. I don't have to have a smartphone. There's no condition.
You don't. It's healthier. If you get a smartphone, you're gonna be hooked all the time. That's what happens with all of us. All of the people
that have to use a smartphone, do I? Well, I mean, the mobile phone. This mobile phone is only for an emergency. When I go away from home, or when I'm out and about and someone wants to ring me, they phone me, and it works. Believe it or not. I can see it.
Yep, I can see it. Yep, I can see it.
And it's just for if I want to call taxis or I get text messages, but it doesn't connect to the internet. They do have these old ones that connect to the internet, but they won't do very much. But if someone wants to ring me, they ring me on this, and if they want to text me on this, but I use when I'm at home, I use a landline. I pay for my service, so I just use a landline. So if people ring me at home, I use a landline, and I've got an answering machine on the landline. So the mobile phone is only for when you're away from home, isn't it? When you're not at home. Well, I'm in a block of flats, so we can't get a signal in here. I have to hold this out the window to get a signal because we're next door to a hospital and it blocks the signal.
Yeah, the idea of smartphones is just that it's a small computer. It's like having
a small computer. You still won't get a signal on it, will you? Because it's still mobile, isn't it?
Yeah, you get signal. You can receive calls and all that stuff. It's just like
you can take photographs with it. I think
you can take photographs.
You can take pictures. But you know these old phones here. You can get these with a webcam. These used to come with.
Yeah, some of them. Yep.
There's a site called Refurnished Phones. Some of these have built-in webcams, but this one doesn't. These ones have a built-in. This one hasn't got a webcam, but some of these they have a built-in webcam.
Yeah, but you don't.
And the old ones have internet, but they're just crude, aren't they? They connect to the internet, but you wouldn't really be able to view anything because the browser and everything would be very, very old. So you can get the old ones the old Nokia ones. Some of them do internet, the reconditioned ones, but it wouldn't be like a smartphone. You wouldn't get very far on it, would you?
Yeah, you don't need it. Just try to go as far as you can with your phone, and yeah.
Well, I can take my laptop out and I connect to a wireless broad. I can use it in a coffee shop, but I don't take it out because it might get stolen. I wouldn't take a laptop. It's heavy to carry around. I don't take my laptop out of the house unless I go away on holiday or something like this.
Yeah.
Use it in the hotel room, but that's when I used to go on holiday a lot. I used to take my laptop and use it in the hotel room.
Do you want to share? Do you want to share with us a little bit?
Wi-Fi in the hotel. The hotel has hotels have Wi-Fi, don't they? That you can connect to.
They do.
In the hotel.
They do. Do you want to share with us a little bit about your background? Like, why did you get started with computers? I don't know if you want to share with us about your history, your background.
Well, I think that was a total accident because I'm 62. I was born in 1963. When we went to school, we never learnt computers. We learnt. I mean, you didn't always. Well, you even typing classes. Only a few people were allowed to go to the typing classes. So typing we had to learn when we left school, but I couldn't type. But it was by accident because there used to be this shopping centre
Mm-hmm.
It was called Whiteley Shopping Centre in Queensway, and they had an internet cap. This was back in 2006, where you buy a little ticket. It was called Easy Internet Cap. You sit down and you just go on the computer, and the man there that was working there showed me how to use it. He sat me down. If it hadn't have been for him, I never would have learnt how to use the computer, because when I went there before, I didn't have a clue what to do, couldn't even use the mouse. But the man sat me down. He showed me how to use the computer. He showed me how to get connected with my ticket. You buy a ticket for £2 and then go on it. You could get a day ticket, last you a day, or was it 2 days? And then he showed me how to log in. It was Windows XP, and how to use the web browser, which was Internet Explorer. And then he showed me how to do email. So we set up an email account eventually. And then I was doing everything in the internet cap. And then when I moved here to my new flat in 2010, I decided to buy a laptop. It was a netbook with Windows 7 starter. Maybe that wasn't a good move. I should have bought a proper laptop, shouldn't I?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. And
Windows 7 starter was very crippled. You couldn't even change the wallpaper.
yeah. And that's when you decided to start a channel?
What about you? Did you start off on Windows as well, or have you never used Windows?
Yep, I did start on Windows 95.
Oh, so you was using it before me, because when I started use a computer, I mean, Windows XP was old anyway, but they used to have a lot of internet cats in England. All the internet cats used Windows XP because they couldn't be bothered upgrading to Windows 7, and I assume they didn't upgrade to Windows Vista, which was there at the time, because they had problems. But all the internet cats had Windows XP, or most of them did. Only few had Windows 7. But when you bought a new computer in 2009, it was Windows 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I missed out on Windows 98, Windows 2000. Always wanted to use it. But when I finally did get Windows 2000 on one of my netbooks, which was an MSI Win, which had the old, you could switch the SATA drive, I didn't like it. And I couldn't even get the graphics working because the drivers wouldn't support it. But when I did install Windows 2000 in virtual machine, I thought, well, it's not all that great, is it? So I thought it, but when I installed it, I realized it wasn't really all that great.
No, it was great when that was the only option available.
Windows XP is more superior. It has more, doesn't it? Windows XP.
When XP came out, it was like, man, it looked
difficult to install, because a lot of them don't. They use a different hard drive setting for that of Windows 7 and Windows Vista. So a lot of the HPs, they don't have the old SATA drive. So unless you've got that, like you've got on the MSI Wing, you can't install Windows XP. But I think I did install it on one of them. It was Windows XP Media Center Edition. It wasn't bad, but
mm-hmm.
I mean, they're not supported now. I can't use them now, can I?
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think you can. I'm not sure, but
all the web would be out of date. The biggest problem is the web browser. I mean, how can you shop online and do anything if you can't get online? If you use a very, very old web browser, you can't, bank online or shop online.
Yeah.
It's not very safe, is it? You can on Linux, but not on. But even old versions of Linux are supported. Because when I installed Debian 10 a few months ago in one of my videos in virtual machine, I was very surprised to get updates with Debian 10. I didn't think, Debian 10 was old stable at that. A few months ago, Debian Buster was old stable, so you could install it and still get updates. And believe it or not, I tried the live CD on my laptop, not the new laptop, obviously, but this one, and it worked. The white drivers worked and everything, because when they said they don't have non-free firmware, they also Debian had ISOs, unofficial ISOs of Debian 11 and Debian 12 that have non-free firmware, and it's one of those that I installed. But of course, Debian 10's not supported now. They've taken it off the website, but Debian 11 still is. So some people are still using Debian 11, but I don't see why the biggest problem is the web. I don't install my web browsers from the package manager. I install them myself. When I install Debian or Linux Mint, I download Firefox from the website. I just go to the Firefox website and download it. You just download the tar file and unzip the tar, put it in a folder somewhere, unzip the tar file, and just run the extension and make a shortcut to it in the web. Well, it's in the videos, but in Google Chrome, when you install the deb file, it adds the repository to the package manager, so you get updates for Google Chrome in Synaptic, so you don't have to keep reinstalling. In Firefox, you just click about Firefox, and it tells you when there's updates, and it updates automatically, a bit like the Windows Firefox does. I don't know if it's a tar file version of Firefox. Have you or not?
No, I haven't. I don't use Firefox. I use Brave. What do you use? You use Chrome and Firefox. Is that correct?
Chrome. Yeah, because Chromium, you can't download it from a web. There is a download for Chromium. There's a download for Chromium, but it's the bleeding edge version of Chromium, which is not recommended for everyday use. It's the bleeding edge version, like testing, that's nightly build, and that's the only one you can download for Linux and Windows. So they don't recommend it. So there isn't a download for Chromium available on the web. You have to get it from your package manager, and Windows users just use Google Chrome.
What is the worst Linux distro you have ever used?
Well, I didn't like PC Linux. That wasn't very good, but it has to be Fedora 43. I hate to say it, but Fedora 41 I was happy with. I thought Fedora 41 might be for new users, because the only difference was with Fedora 41 was, instead of saying the sudo apt update, it said the sudo DNF update. But and everything worked fine, DNF Dragora. So I thought, well, this can be for new users, although it wasn't quite the same, because they don't have as many graphical tools on Fedora as what you have on Ubuntu and Debian. Because on Ubuntu, you've got a startup applications manager, which, by the way, can be installed on Debian, because most of the Ubuntu software works on Debian, because they're both very similar operating systems, so you can install the GNOME Startup Applications Manager on Debian from Ubuntu, which I do, and it has GNOME System Tools, where you configure your user accounts. Fedora doesn't have that. It doesn't have GNOME Startup Applications either, and it has DNF Dragora, but that no longer works in Fedora 43. It's broken, and they haven't fixed it. I tried using their old package manager called GNOME Package Kit. If you see in the video, another graphical package manager. That's what Fedora used to use before GNOME Software Center, GNOME Package Kit, but that was only partly functional, because where were the categories at the site? They were missing. But GNOME Package Kit is not supported now. It's not been updated since GNOME 43. So if you're using Debian Bookworm or Debian Buster, then GNOME Package Kit is fine. But in Debian 13, although you can use GNOME Package Kit, it's not been updated since GNOME 43. Although it does work. It installs and updates. The only thing is, when you try to uninstall software, the whole thing crashes. So you're probably better off using Synaptic, I think.
And why
on Ubuntu?
Why did you decide to go to Debian? Because it's the best. Is that why?
Well, I was pulled to Debian totally by accident. In 2022, I was on Linux Mint, and I knew that my netbooks wasn't going to support a lot of Linux operating systems, because most of them were 64-bit. They had some 32-bit Linux, but they were fast phasing out their 32-bit and dropping support for 32-bit. I found out that Debian still supported 32-bit, and that's how I got pulled into Debian, because I thought, a 32-bit operating system. And also I thought, I want an operating system that doesn't have snaps and flatpaks bundled in. I think that came from when I had the new laptop with the 64-bit hard drive that I now got rid of, that I don't have anymore, because I found out that snaps and flatpaks take up a lot of your space. So with Debian, you don't have to have snaps and flatpaks if you don't want. So that was very attractive. So I installed Debian on my 32-bit laptops, and it did work. It was LXQT, and it was all right. But I soon realised, and then I tried Sparky Linux, another 32-bit operating system, because they had a 32-bit for that, didn't they? And so did they have for Q4S. But I soon came to realise that the 32-bit netbooks weren't going to run as well as the 64-bit. So I thought, right, let's get rid of the 32-bit netbooks, because I've got so many. I had about 10, not going to use them. And I decided to take the plunge, and I threw out all my Windows 7 install CDs, because with Windows 7, you can only install one copy of Windows on each computer, because once you've installed Windows 7 on one computer, if you try and put it on another computer, it will say you've got to activate it. So I think you have to deactivate it from the other computer before you get it on. So I had about 10 10 different Windows 7 CDs that I bought, each with different product keys, because one product key for each computer, Even installed it in Windows 8 and it wasn't plain sailing, because Windows 8 was only being sold as an upgrade. So you had to install Windows 7 first and then do the upgrade CD for Windows 8. But it's the same thing. One product key, one copy of Windows for one computer. So if you've got 4 computers, you have to buy 4 different CDs of Windows, each with different product. They've all got different product keys, each one you buy, because one product key for one computer, and you have to activate it, or the desktop goes black, and you don't. You'll keep getting reminders to restart. It becomes more unfunctional the more you use it past the unactivate. You get a free trial to use it for so many weeks or days, and after that it deactivates. You know what window?
It's bad.
With Windows XP and that, you had to put the CD key in before you even installed it.
Before you installed it. And how do you feel about the freedom that you get with open source, right? Because you can install an operating system, no restrictions.
On Windows, Firefox is open source, isn't it?
Firefox, it is, I think.
On Windows, haven't you?
No, but on Linux.
But Windows is not open source. That's it. It's not. It's not.
No. On Linux, how do you feel on Linux with the freedom that you get, that you can install whatever you want, no issues, no restrictions, no license keys?
Well, to a certain extent, I mean, if you're using Ubuntu comes bundled with snaps. Now, if you uninstall the snap, you'll break your whole operating system. I know because I've done it. And Fedora comes bundled with Flatpaks the same way that Ubuntu comes with Snap. So if you uninstall Flatpaks on Fedora, it also breaks. And if you install the software centers, even when you've uninstalled Flatpak, when you install GNOME Software Center, it puts the Flatpak back on, it puts it back on the operating system, don't it? It puts the Flatpak back on the operating system. But I mean, I thought Fedora was going to be for new users. They would have probably been fine if they'd have run it on the same lines as Fedora 41. But Fedora 43 is Wayland only, and maybe they've taken a lot of the X11 out of the other desktops as well, even though they are X11. Maybe that's why none of the other desktops work. What do you think? What is wrong with Fedora 43? Why is it that everything I've tried on Fedora 43, nothing works? The menu editors don't work. Menu Libre doesn't work. A la carte doesn't work. The package managers don't work. And even Discover doesn't work. You saw when I was clicking on Discover, I was clicking on the software that I wanted to take a look at, supposed to show you it. And it doesn't. So why is it everything is broken in Fedora? In Fedora 43, I don't understand that. Do you?
I don't use Fedora. Well, let me tell you a secret. I use macOS. Have you ever used macOS?
No, I wouldn't know macOS if I saw it. I wouldn't know macOS if someone put it in front of me. I don't even know what macOS looks like. I do know that a MacBook is very expensive, £2,000. And which I can't afford. And when you install macOS, do you install it? I don't think you can buy the CDs. I think you have to use it from the MacBook. You can't even install it yourself, can you? So if you wipe the drive, then I don't think you can install it. They don't do Mac CDs, do they? Like Windows CDs, do they?
If you wipe the drive, you can reinstall.
Operating system. How do you reinstall it?
Yeah, I have reinstalled it.
But I used to do Windows many times to nuke my operating system when I was experimenting, and with Linux. You know, how do you reinstall Mac if that happens, if you nuke your operating system?
Yeah. You don't nuke it that often, because I don't play around with it.
I don't know what macOS looks like. I haven't got a clue how you use it. I've heard they've got more restrictions on Mac than Windows, and it's not free. And I think you've got the same as Windows restrictions on a computer. But I mean, Mac is very expensive. A MacBook is £2,000. You can't install macOS on a Windows computer and that. And you still have to pay to use macOS. It's not free like Linux, is it? I mean, macOS MacBooks are a lot of money. They can only be installed on MacBooks, and so I haven't got the money, have I, for that?
It's too expensive unless you buy a used computer. The last one.
But I wouldn't know how to use it. I mean, why would I want to use macOS? I think it's probably worse than Windows. Aren't there more restrictions? I don't even know what macOS looks like anyway, or how you use it. I don't know how to use it.
Let me show you macOS real quick.
What does it look like? Does it have a start menu or what? What does it look like?
This is the way that I use it. This is the way. But what does
a desktop look like?
The desktop.
where's the start menu? That's not the desktop. Let's boot to. I don't know if you can boot to the desktop, but what does the start menu look like?
Oh, it
What sort of
doesn't.
start menu do you get? Is it like GNOME? Is it like Windows 8 or Windows 7 or what? What do you get?
You get the
I don't
bar.
get it's either. I think you don't.
You get a bar here at the
Oh
bottom.
yes, somebody said you don't get a start menu or anything, just a desktop and a dock, and you don't get nothing else. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. You get the bar here at the bottom, and
Elementary OS is something like that, which is why I don't like Elementary OS either.
I think you can click here. I don't use this.
It's a bit like GNOME. That looks like the GNOME desktop. Are you sure that's not the GNOME desktop? That looks like the GNOME desktop to me.
Oh, really?
That looks like GNOME.
Yeah.
GNOME desktop looks like that, doesn't it? GNOME 47 looks. GNOME looks like that. That's what main GNOME looks like. It's got a start menu like that, but I think GNOME's a bit more user friendly, and you've got the start menu at the top, haven't you? And the extensions, you haven't got that there, have you, on Mac?
Yeah, you don't have like a start menu. You have that at the bottom. I use my Mac.
No, the app menu is the start menu, apparently, isn't it?
Yeah,
apparently.
there's no start menu on Mac. I think you get this little thing to launch applications.
I don't think I'd like it, to be honest.
No, I don't. If you're used to Linux, you're not gonna like Mac too much
I'm a Windows user. I was a Windows XP and Windows 7 user, so a Windows XP and Windows 7 user wouldn't really want a start menu like that. I know I wouldn't.
Let me ask you something.
I didn't like Windows 8 for the same reason. And Windows 11, it doesn't have the traditional start menu that Windows 7 and Windows XP and Windows Vista used to have. Windows Vista was a beautiful operating system. Even though people complained about it, I thought Windows Vista was beautiful. I had it on one of my laptops. I love the green folders. It was beautiful, but I mean, you could make Windows 7 look like that, but I don't think Microsoft should have started Windows 8. I think they should have stopped at Windows 7 and just updated, because everybody liked Windows 7. It was what everybody understood. And then they changed it. They ruined the operating system. I mean, ever since Windows 8, Windows just not the same anymore, is it? And now, when I used to say it was wonderful that you didn't have to log in with a password, you just log in and you didn't have to have a password to do anything on Windows. Well, you can't now, because you have to log in with a Microsoft account. No Microsoft account, you can't get into the desktop. No Microsoft account, no desktop.
Oh, let me ask you something, Andrea. Do you use the terminal a lot on Linux? Do you use your terminal?
Well, on and off. I mean, I do use it occasionally, but I think I use it mostly for updating, because it's quicker and it's good for cleaning, the sudo apt auto clean and that. But to do updates, we got Synaptic Package Manager on Debian. I mean, when they say you don't have an update manager on Debian, well, there is GNOME Package Kit with GNOME Package Updater, but you don't really need. And I think Emacs Linux and Sparky Linux have got their own update manager, and Ubuntu have got an update manager, and so have Linux. But to be honest, if you install Synaptic Package Manager, you don't need any of those tools, because Synaptic Package Manager has got an update tool, because you just click refresh and it updates. So Synaptic Package Manager, you can search for software, and the only thing is the screenshots feature in Synaptic Package is not working. I did file a bug on the Debian website, because with Synaptic Package Manager, when you hover over a screenshot, it shows you screenshots of the software before you install it, as well as the installed software, but it's not working because Debian screenshots, where the screenshots come from, they use HTTPs, but Synaptic hasn't switched to the secure HTTPs. It's using HTTP. Well, that's what it said on the Ubuntu website if you Google it, but Synaptic Package Manager works, but at the moment we can't view screenshots because of that. But if you've got Synaptic Package Manager, that's all you really need, because you can update it's a graphical package manager for Debian and Ubuntu users, where you update your software, install software, and the good thing about Synaptic, it will tell you what's going to be installed and tell you what's going to be uninstalled before you do anything. But if you're using GNOME Software Center or Plasma Discover, it doesn't. So if you want to uninstall something from GNOME Software or Plasma Discover, you can end up installing something and it could uninstall your whole desktop, because it won't warn you it won't tell you what it's going to uninstall until it's too late and you've uninstalled it. But the only software center I would recommend, I mean, a lot of people like a graphical software center, so they find Synaptic, Although it's not really true that you have to go through a list of things. I mean, it's no different. You have to do the same in the software center. But some people like a software center with lots of pictures, a bit like a glossy magazine. Well, if you're going to go for a software center, I would go for the Mint Software Center. You know, the Mint Software Center is the closest thing to Synaptic. But unlike Synaptic, you know, it's a software center as well. So you've got lots and lots of screenshots and pictures which come from Linux Mint, and all of this, just about everything's got a screenshot. Most of them have got screenshots, and you can't install updates with Mint Software Center. It's because with GNOME Software Center and Plasma Discover, you can install updates, but with Mint Software Center, it doesn't install updates. It's for installing and removing software and for searching for software, but the Mint Software Center, unlike GNOME software, when you install the software from the Linux Mint Software Center, which is what I've got on my system, it'll tell you what's going to be installed, exactly like Synaptic tells you. It'll tell you what's going to be removed when you remove something. And you can even install desktop environments with software center. And it's like Synaptic, except it's graphical and in pictures. So I think that's what attracts more users, although maybe it doesn't do as much as Synaptic, and it doesn't update and it doesn't tell you history. But also, I've only got deb packages on my system. I don't have snaps and flatpaks, so the Mint Software Center just has deb packages. But if you want to install flatpaks, it'll show you all the flatpaks you've got installed. And if you click where it says show unverified flatpaks, if you've enabled the Fedora flatpak repository or the unofficial flatpak repositories like GNOME and that, it'll show you those as well. It'll show you all the flatpak repositories. So the Mint Software Center will show you all your flatpak packages if you have flatpak installed. If you've only got devs, then obviously it won't. It'll be just devs. And it will show you all your dev packages, and it works similar to Synaptic, very, very similar, in that it'll tell you what's going to be removed before you remove it. It will tell you what's going to be uninstalled before you uninstall it. So you always know what you're doing. And I've installed several software on Debian with Mint Software Center, and I've not had any problems. It works properly, and I mean, Synaptic Package Manager goes one step further, and I think it uninstalls leftover software that's auto-removable, isn't it? But
so would you say to new Linux users, would you say that you have to be a terminal expert to use Linux, or you don't need the terminal at all?
Well, I know that I'm not, so I know that I'm not, that's for sure.
Okay, so anyone can use Linux, basically, right?
Yeah, I mean, you have to make compromises. One of the compromises I've made was I had to have a password, because on Windows 7 I could just log in and do things without a password. But Linux, you have to have a password, but there's a way around it. Just put a 1-letter password or a 2-letter password in it, you're never going to forget. So it's easy to get around the password. They're not strict about it on Debian and Ubuntu. On Fedora, that's another thing with Fedora 43. When I tried to put my put my 2-letter password in, it said, sorry, the password not long enough. So you know what I had to do? Once Fedora was installed, I changed my password. How you do that? My username was Anne, so I put sudo password Anne, enter in the terminal, enter the old password, and then I changed it with my 2-letter password, and that's how I got it. I always enabled a root account as well, so that I can, because when you edit files, you have to do it as administrator, which the root account is like the administrator account. But you see, it's best to set up as a user account, then enable the root account when you get in there. Because if you set up as root, then you've got a problem adding yourself to the sudo file and installing sudo. So don't go there.
Now, I have a question for you as well. You mentioned edit files. What do you use to edit files? Have you heard about these?
So I download wallpapers from the internet, and I want to put them in my backgrounds folder, which you can only do if you're root. So I open USR share as root, and so I can copy the wallpapers or the pictures and put them in the backgrounds folder as wallpapers. Or sometimes I want to use my wallpapers from Linux Mint that I didn't install as deb files, or sometimes when I download app images and I want to put them in my programs folder, use as share instead of in my home folder. To do that, you have to be root. So open as root, and then copy the app image and put into the user share folder. And then it's treated as a program. That's what I do that, yeah.
Mhm.
And then sometimes creating a desktop shortcut to put in user share application, so it appears on the start menu. So you don't have to edit the start menu. You have to open as root for that.
And have you heard about Neovim or Emacs to edit stuff? Have you heard about those
I
tools?
did install Vim. Didn't know how to use it.
Oh,
Didn't
no?
know how to use it.
What do you think about Vim?
Couldn't use it. Didn't know how to use it. Uninstalled it.
So what do you use in the terminal if you need to edit a file in the terminal?
Well, Nano is useless. I soon found out that Nano doesn't have to be installed because on Ubuntu and Debian you've got two terminal editors. You've got Vim Tiny. That's not the full Vim. It's like the old V, which is like Nano, and you got Nano, and couldn't use Nano at all. Tried with the keyboard, couldn't. I soon found out that I could uninstall it a few weeks ago because Nano's not part of the operating system, so I did, and I installed. What did I use? It's called Any Text Editor, nice text editor, where you can use it with the keyboard. But the one that's most friendly you can use with your mouse is called Microsoft Edit, MS Edit. You can use it with your mouse in the terminal.
Which one?
Not why, but that one. But then again, I don't edit files in the terminal because it's easy to make a mistake. Even when you're using Microsoft Edit, where you can move your mouse up and down where the text is and that in the terminal. It's easy to make a mistake. When I edit files, when I was adding the repositories to upgrade to Debian SID, it involves editing the repositories, the text files, doesn't it? So what I did was I went into ECT, open as root, and then I opened it with gedit or Pluma, and then I edited it that way. I didn't do it in the terminal. But I think there's one thing you have to do in the terminal, vsudo, but who edits the sudo file? They advise you not to, so I just leave that alone. Who does this? Not going to do that, are we? Not going to do that.
We have someone sent a message in chat. Let me share it with you. Okay, I'm gonna switch to my screen.
Experienced, to be honest. I mean, I think of Linux a lot like Windows. It seems a lot like Windows with its desktop and everything. It's so much like Windows 7. That's why I feel so much at home. I mean, when on Linux Mint people feel at home because the desktops are so much like Windows 7. If you look at them, don't you think?
Yeah.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
You look at Cinnamon, you look at Mate, it's so much like Windows 7, isn't it?
Yeah.
Except better done with categories.
Similar, you're right.
Categories, you just got an all programs menu that you're forever scrolling. But a Windows Vista added the search bar, which was a step up. We didn't have a search bar on Windows XP, did we? Unless we installed a launcher or something. We didn't, did we?
Yeah. Someone sent a message here. It says, Andrea Borman is a godsend. She exposed how Apple stole their desktop environment. So, yeah.
I don't know anything about Microsoft. I don't know anything about Mac or Apple. I've never used macOS, and I didn't even know what macOS looked like until you told me. I know nothing about macOS. I know absolutely nothing. So I don't know anything about Apple, but I don't know. I mean,
but you're already above macOS. You're on Linux. You're on the GigaChat operating system. So
I'd have to pay to use macOS, wouldn't I? It's not free.
Yeah.
You got to.
No, so you're
already. Got to pay for it. It's not free.
Yeah, no, it's not free. So you're already good. You're good with Linux. So you didn't like Vim. Did you ever try to use Vim?
I couldn't use it, could I? Well, there is something called vim-gtk, gvim. There's a GTK version of Vim, but that's really just a link to the terminal. You can install the GTK version of Vim, but you still have to know how to use it. I mean, really, if you want a text editor, all you really need is like a notepad style text editor like we had on Windows, because if we needed to edit system files on Windows 7, we used something called Notepad, and WordPad was for creating like rich text documents. So if you're going to edit a text file, all you have to do is install gedit, or you can install LeafPad, not the old LeafPad, but L3A pad or Pluma or Mousepad, and you edit with one of those. They also have some, on Linux Mint, they have Z, which does the same thing. You can install that as well as gedit. So that's all you really need if you want to edit the files, and just open it as root and edit the files. You don't really need Vim to edit simple program files or repositories of that, do you? I don't think so.
Yeah, you reminded me of a friend. His name is Drew, and he has a YouTube channel. He's just a Linux guy, but he uses this editor called Geany. Have you heard about that?
I'm more for creating fancy documents. Well, I mean, what about Abbey Word? You can create a document with Abbey Word, but well, I mean, if you want something more fancy and more featured, install LibreOffice. LibreOffice has everything. That will take
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
office needs. Well, there's another one I've got on my system on GNOME Flashback, only Office Desktop Editors, not the Flatpak version, the dev version, because I added the repository. Only Office Desktop Editors is a lightweight version of Office. I did a video on OpenOffice, but OpenOffice has not been updated for about a year, so I've decided to give that a miss. But only Office Desktop Editors or Libre. If you don't want, well, the best way to get LibreOffice on Debian is, because there are a few versions behind, is to download it from the website, although that does mean downloading a lot of deb files. But another way to get LibreOffice on Debian, there's an app image version of LibreOffice. You can just install that and download the app image version of LibreOffice, and you just run the app image and it's all there. You can do that on Debian. Because I mean, I don't understand why people do with the Snaps and Flatpak, or most of the software that you get on Snaps and Flatpaks, like web browsers, you can just download the updated deb file from the website, or download the app image. Because as we know, Debian and Ubuntu tend to use the ESR version, Firefox ESR, is it? But I mean, even if I was installing Firefox ESR, I would just get it from the Firefox website, because how do you know the Debian version is the Debian version is the up-to-date version? I mean, say you're using Debian 11 or Debian 12, it won't be the same version as Debian 13, will it? I don't think so. Or will it? Maybe their web browsers are different. I don't know, but I'm not using Debian 12 or Debian 11. Well, I mean, why do you think people use older opera? Well, I mean, some people prefer the GNOME 3 to the GNOME 4, because I've noticed with GNOME, each time they bring out a new version, they take more features away, don't they, with GNOME, with main GNOME, not with GNOME Flashback, but with main. But there's two versions of GNOME, isn't there? There's main GNOME, which is like the Windows 8 start menu, and there's GNOME Flashback. If you're going to use, why not GNOME Flashback? I mean, it is GNOME 48, isn't it, or GNOME 49? It's that you've got the more traditional desktop, like Mate. You haven't got the app. I mean, when you think about it, with Windows 8, the reason why my Windows 8 was running slow is because I was adding things to it, like Classic Shell. You've heard of Classic Shell or OpenShell to get the Windows 7 start menu. And another one is...
no. I never tried it, no.
Because you don't get a start menu on Windows 8. You have to add something called Start 8 or Startup, or Startup start menu, is it? Or Classic Shell to get the Windows 7 start menu, and other things in order to disable that horrible ribbon toolbar. But when you've done all that, you're slowing Windows down. Each time you add on, you've still got the Metro thing running in the background and you're slowing it down. Well, it's the sort of same. Well, maybe it's not the same with GNOME, but if you're going to be adding things like extensions to get the start menu, extensions for this and extensions for that, why not just install, because you want the Windows style start menu, why not just go for a desktop that already has that, like Cinnamon, Mate, or GNOME Flashback? If you like GNOME, but GNOME Flashback is better than main GNOME, because you know that Ubuntu used to come with GNOME 2, which was similar to GNOME. Well, GNOME Flashback's not exactly the same as GNOME 2, because the original GNOME 2 had more features. It was more like Mate, wasn't it? But
yeah.
The original Ubuntu used to come with GNOME 2. When Ubuntu first came out, it came with GNOME 2 before they switched to Unity, and that was better. I think that.
Have you heard about this other distro that...
I don't like Unity either. That was harder to use than GNOME, because you have to do everything with the search bar. I think the icons on the desktop, but you didn't even have an app menu. Something called a classic menu indicator that you could install in previous versions of Unity doesn't work in the latest version of Unity. So you had to do it. You had to find your apps from the search bar in Unity, and it doesn't even show all of them up. But at least in GNOME, it finds everything in the app menu, and you can search for extensions and that in the search bar. But Unity is harder to use than main GNOME, isn't it? To be honest, it is. When you think about it.
Have you heard about this other distro that is called Nix, and that brought an epidemic of furries?
That's very complicated. That will be nothing like Debian and Arch. I've not tried that. I've not attempted that. That is a very complicated. It isn't anything like Fedora, even Fedora, is it? It's not.
No.
Well, Fedora would be all right. They just fix their packages. I mean, some people prefer RPM to apt. Why is that? What's the advantage in RPM over apt? Can you tell me? Because I can't see it myself.
I have no
I mean,
idea.
Debian and Ubuntu have all. I think there's more apt packages and deb packages than what there are with RPMs. I mean, I can't see the advantage in using Fedora or whatever if you've got like Debian and Ubuntu, because they have everything, don't they? And they check their packages and make sure they're up to date, don't they?
Yeah, and how do
I
you
mean, Debian
edit?
and Ubuntu checks everything before it's up to date. I know they put stable and they don't always update their packages as much as others, but they check everything and make sure everything is working before it goes in there. And anything that's, I mean, look at the NXT desktop on, what is it, Fedora. They've still got Clipit in there and the old LeafPad. Ubuntu and Debian removed that years ago, because Clipit's no longer being updated and neither is LeafPad. So the Debian desktop and the Ubuntu version of NXT has been replaced with Mousepad, and their clipboard manager, I think, is Diadon. Well, I don't like Diadon, but I'm just saying that Clipit's no longer supported those. See, Fedora doesn't. Somebody told me that the Fedora spins are not official desktops. Is that true? And only the GNOME and KDE is? I didn't know that.
I have no idea, but I have a question for you.
I didn't know that. They're not working. I do know that Fedora 43. Fedora 43, I did try the GNOME edition, and it had Cockpit, which is the a web server. Now, who would use Cockpit web server or web server if they're an ordinary desktop user like you and me? I mean, you wouldn't install that on Debian and Ubuntu or even on Fitbit. I mean, why would you need that if you're just using it as an ordinary desktop and, to do everyday things? I mean, I'm not running it as a server, am I? I mean, apparently you can't uninstall it from GNOME, and the installer took ages to install because they were using Cockpit installer to install it. So it took hours to install the GNOME edition. And when I installed the GNOME in Fedora 43, it was Wayland only, which I knew, but I tried to use GNOME Flashback. GNOME Flashback and X11 installs on GNOME 43. No, on Fedora 43, on Fedora 43, but it doesn't run. You can't log into it at all. And even when I switched to LifeDM, you can't log into GNOME Flashback on Fedora 43. So either Fedora has blocked it. They blocked all X11 that is GNOME related. So GNOME Flashback installs on Fedora 43, but it doesn't.
Hey, Andrea, how do you edit your?
The good news is on Ubuntu 25.5, although it's X11, although it's a Wayland only, Ubuntu is GNOME 49, but Wayland only in 25.10. But you can log into GNOME Flashback and use it, as you saw in my video. So I could get rid of the GNOME Wayland only and use the GNOME Flashback. But I don't want to use Ubuntu 25.10. It's only safer, isn't it? The might be better, I think. Maybe the LTS will be better.
How do you edit your videos on Linux, or you don't edit them?
I use Simple Screen Recorder. I was using Kazam, but sometimes the videos didn't come out. I use Simple Screen Recorder, and I use GUVC View for my desktop, or sometimes Cheese, which is GNOME, Cheese. And then I use Shotcut Video Editor. I was using Openshot Video Editor, but it stopped working in Debian SID. But as I'm using Debian Stable, maybe the app... to use the video editors, OpenShot and Shotcut, I don't go through the package manager, because you know what version of OpenShot they've got in Debian? They've got 251 or 311, and it's very, very old. But the latest version is much newer. And the version of Shotcut they've got in Debian is also very old, and the same in Ubuntu. So when I install Shotcut or OpenShot in Debian, I just download the app image from the website, because they've only got the app image. And with Kden Live, if you go through the package manager, same problem, very old, but you can get Kden Live from the website, the app image, and with Fritter and even GIMP, you can download the app image. So, because the Debian and Ubuntu always have the older versions, they always do, for video editors and image editors and that. Why that is, I don't know, but they just do. Maybe it's...
Okay, so you use Shotcut then, mainly.
Well, I use the latest version from the website, because the Debian version is very old. I use Shotcut now because I like it better. I was using OpenShot app image, but when it stopped working in Debian SID, I use Shotcut. But it might work now on Debian Stable OpenShot. But as I'm using Shotcut. I like that better. But if you're going to download the video editor, download the app images because they're newer than the ones you get in Debian and Ubuntu. Debian and Ubuntu have got very old packages with the video editors. Did you know that? Maybe you don't use
No.
Debian. What are you using? Debian? No.
No, I use macOS.
But you commented on my Linux channel. I thought you was a Linux user like me. You're not a Linux user.
No, I use
You were a
Linux.
Linux user. I thought you was using Linux like us.
Yeah, I use Linux, but only on servers. You know, I have
What
like.
version of Linux have you got?
Oh, let me see.
What have you got?
I'm gonna show you right now.
Is it virtual machine or on a laptop? Virtual machines don't really count.
No, it's not a virtual machine here. Maybe you can see it there. So it is Debian 12 Bookworm.
Well, that's an old version. You need to update. That's old stable. You need to upgrade now. You need to upgrade to Debian Trixie. Why haven't you upgraded it?
Oh, because they're just my
Debian Trixie.
Yeah.
It's Debian 13 now. Debian 13 is the new stable. That is old. Debian Bookworm is old stable now. It's
Yeah. It's in my plans, but I haven't had the time. So
well, don't worry, you'll still get updates because they're still supporting Debian 11 and Debian 12, but you won't get as many updates as what you'll get with Debian 13. The latest version is now Debian 13, Debian Trixie, if you want to go and get it from the website.
Yeah, I will.
You'll get newer software. Debian, you see, I've not found it. But what's good about this version of Debian is that with Debian Bookworm, the software was slightly older, even when it first came out. But with Debian Trixie, most of the packages are the same as what you've got on Debian SID. Because when I looked on Debian SID, they've got the same versions mostly. Most of them are, except the kernels. But you know, I mean, the reason why I ran Debian SID, I thought was a good way to get the latest software, but it comes at a price because the desktops would keep breaking on Debian SID. Every time the KDE desktop, which gets updated like crazy on Debian SID, would update, it would want to uninstall all the packages because part of the packages were Qt5 and part of them Qt6 because Debian don't put them in all at once. They put them in little bits, don't they? So I got fed up with having to keep having my software uninstalled and my desktop uninstalled and things breaking and not working. So I decided Debian's stable. It's got KDE Plasma 6 anyway, and who wants to use GNOME 49? Because we know that the GNOME 49 in Debian SID is Wayland only. Oh, by the way, I did test Debian SID in virtual machine, and yes, it's Wayland only. But the good news is you can still install GNOME Flashback. In Ubuntu and Debian in GNOME 49, GNOME Flashback works, but not in Fedora. So if you want GNOME Flashback, don't go to Fedora.
Hey, and I heard...
Desktop. You can run GNOME Flashback as a desktop on its own in Ubuntu and Debian, but in Fedora you can't. When you install GNOME Flashback, it pulls in the whole GNOME desktop. So I think they have a different way of doing things on Fedora. They don't do things. It's not like Debian and Ubuntu, is it? I wanted it to be a clone of Debian and Ubuntu, but it wasn't, was it?
Hey, Andrea, and I've heard a lot of people that say that Debian is a legacy distro and that it only has old packages. Would you say that is true?
Well, not Debian Trixie. I think they've changed a lot. I think it maybe was true in past versions, but I think that they've changed. I mean, there was a time when you couldn't get non-free firmware, although they did have although that wasn't strictly true because you could download the ISOs that had non-free firmware, like Debian 11 and Debian 10. But with Debian Bookworm, they tried to be more up to date, but I think the Debian Bookworm version is the same as Ubuntu Jellyfish. The package is very similar to that. Because Ubuntu Jammy had GNOME 42, Debian had GNOME 43, so they were slightly ahead. But since Debian Trixie, they've now got more updated packages. So because the stable version of GNOME for LTS, I think, is GNOME 48. Although Ubuntu, with their 24.4, they're running GNOME 46. So we're ahead of them, aren't we? We're ahead of Ubuntu, aren't we?
Okay. So do you have any packages that you cannot use in Debian? What do you do when you find a package that is too old in Debian? Do you use Flatpaks or what do you do?
Well, you can use it. Well, I mean, the web browsers is always better. I think the most important thing are the web browsers because and the email programs because they're the ones that you connect to the internet every day. So I think the web browsers, you're best to install them yourself from the website. Download Firefox from Firefox and download Google Chrome from Google Chrome. Or if you're using another Firefox clone like Pale Moon, you can download Pale Moon from the website and download Waterfox. Fortunately, with the Firefox browsers, they come as tar files, which are just designed to be unzipped and run without having to compile or anything. So you can just unzip the tar file with Archive Manager and just put it in a folder somewhere and just run it. And that's what you can do. And Google Chrome, it'll install the repository when you use it. Brave browser and some other browsers, LibreWolf, I think you have to add the repositories, but that's easily done. You can do that. You add the repositories, a few terminal commands, and you're in. Well, it tells you what to do on the website. It's just copying and pasting, isn't it? But I don't use Brave browser. But, well, Thunderbird, you can actually download it from the website. Again, it's a tar file. And you've also got Betterbird and you've got SeaMonkey. So email programs like Debian is only using 1.4.0, which is ESR for Thunderbird. So you're better off getting it from the website. Even if you're using Firefox ESR, because some people like Firefox ESR because it's more compatible with their hardware. But with Firefox ESR, again, you can download it from the website. At least you know what you're getting. And I get updates for Firefox and Google Chrome and Waterpox at least twice a week. Twice a week when I check for updates. I get updates twice a week from them, which is more with Debian. I'd have to wait longer for them to update. Same with Ubuntu.
When you open your terminal in your machine,
Snaps or Flatpak. No, I did try Snaps and Flatpaks on Debian, but I decided I didn't really need them.
Okay, and when you open your terminal, which one is it? What terminal do you use?
I use GNOME terminal, but there's one called ptyxis. What's the name of the terminal? It's called ptyxis, isn't it? You know the one that's...
I don't know.
ptyxis.
Oh, I think I've heard it somewhere. Let me see.
There used to be, there's a lovely terminal called Q Terminal, which I used to use, but ptyxis is the GTK equivalent of Q Terminal. You can customize it, make it all different colors. It's a lovely terminal, so I always install that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Someone shared it in chat. This one. Let me show my screen. This
I don't
one.
like it. That's not very good. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. That's the terminal I've got. I've got GNOME terminal and ptyxis. I've got two terminals.
Oh. And
GNOME
why?
terminal with the desktop, doesn't it?
Oh, okay. And why do you like this one?
Lots of nice colors. You can cut pink, blue, very pretty color, very customizable.
Oh.
You can change the background and everything. It looks really nice.
Oh, okay. Awesome. And what keyboard do you use? Do you use the keyboard that comes on your computer?
Well, the Windows key and the escape. Well, I've got a mouse. Look, can you see I'm using a mouse? Look, I'm using a computer mouse. Look.
Yep,
mouse.
I see it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's easier than using the keypad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So you use the keyboard that comes with the laptop, right? You don't use an external keyboard.
Nah. Well, the keyboard's working. I don't need to, do I?
No, you're right.
The keyboard's working, so if it wasn't working, then I don't have an external keyboard, but yeah, it's working.
Oh, okay. Now, do you want to share with us 2 of your favorite movies?
Not really. No, I don't really have any.
You don't watch any movies? Do you listen to any music?
YouTube screencasts on Linux at the moment.
Oh,
some other thing.
What do you watch on YouTube? Do you watch any YouTube channels? Any Linux YouTube channels?
It's quite a lot. I'm just Linux men. Well, there's Linux Mensch. There's a new channel that's not been called Zach of All Tech. You know, because there used to be this. You see, a lot of the old YouTubers, Linux YouTubers, are not active anymore. I used to like Nixie Pixel. Do you remember Nixie Pixel? Nixie does Linux, the red-haired lady. Redhead girl. This was back in 2010. I used to watch Nixie Pixel, and she used to do videos that were mainly about Ubuntu. She didn't used to use different desktops. She used to just use Ubuntu, and she used to just use the GNOME desktops. She never used KV. Yeah, and you know, I think she's a woman ahead of her time, or she was a woman ahead of her time because you know, not many women were using Linux then, and even now, not many, but. You know, she was one of the few people that, I think she's young. She's younger than me. Still younger than me. I think she's in her 30s now. But I mean, she was using. She must have been in her 20s then when I saw her channel 10 years ago. Was it? And you know, she really knew her stuff because she really knew about it. I mean, she managed to get keep the tutorial short and explain everything in under 10 minutes, which was good. And I really like looking at. I still watch her channel, but she doesn't make videos anymore, which is a shame. She doesn't do any. She's not active anymore, is she?
Yeah.
There was Quids-Up. I used to like Quids-Up, but he's not active anymore. And do you know Thatcher's Cup of Linux and Don't Call Me Lenny? It's good looking at Linux and looking at the way the old Linux used to be, because the old Linux, in some ways, used to be better because they never had snaps or plat back then. It was simpler. But you see, GNOME, they've made so many changes. Well, I think they still had GNOME 3 then, but I don't like this Wayland only business because I can't use Wayland, because how can I make my YouTube videos on Wayland? The screen recorders don't work. But, Thatcher's Cup of Linux and Don't Call Me Lenny, and who else we've got?
Let me see. Let me look it up. Don't Call Me Lenny?
Yeah, I like look at. It's got really good tutorials. They're not active anymore. But it's such a shame because they were they're good channels, aren't they? Good videos. I really
5 years ago. Okay.
But they're really nice. I really liked them as well. And Quids-Up, he was good. I like Quids-Up.
How do you write that?
Quids, Quids-Up. It's a Linux channel. He used to make a lot of Linux videos. He stopped.
Oh, this one stopped as well.
There was one called Infinitely Galactic, Australian man, Infinitely Galactic. He used to make a lot of videos, but now he doesn't make a lot now, and he's got videos going back to the very early Ubuntu, in Infinitely Galactic Linux. I don't know how to spell it either, but he used to make a lot of videos.
I didn't find that one.
Infinitely Galactic, But you know who sort of replaced him, who I think is very much like it? Zachary Tech, because I think he's a student or a young guy, and he's just started a new channel on Linux. What Linux is good for new Windows users, and he wants to introduce users to Linux to Linux operating systems where you don't have to use the terminal, where you can just use your package manager and use the software center. He's very much like Infinitely Galactic. He reminds me of him because the same sort of tutorials and telling you how to use it. Infinitely Galactic was very tutorials basically introducing that they're like tutorials for Windows users, so that that makes it easy. You see all those channels, Factory's Cup of Linux, Don't Call Me Lenny, even Nixie Pixel, they help bring Windows users into Linux because they explain it so. Well, Nixie Pixel, she was a woman ahead of her time. She was really clever, I think. She knew everything in Linux. I mean, although our channel's entertainment as well, she knew a lot about Linux. She knows a lot more than what I do, that's for sure.
Oh, and do you also watch Veronica Explains? Someone brought it up in chat as well.
Oh yeah, she's not been very active much, has she? But I like her. There's Bread on Penguins, but she uses Arch Linux. The odd thing is that she's chosen Arch Linux as her first operating system, which is unusual because most people don't choose Arch as their first time.
Based.
Some people have used. There's somebody else called Leona somebody. She's using Fedora as her first operating system, but I don't know how anyone can use Fedora 43 because it's unusable. Can't use it. Yeah, but it's Arch Linux, so. DistroTube isn't Arch Linux, but he's an advanced user. He's even got his own OS out. Linux Mint is good. I think he started life on Linux Mint. Linux, but he uses Arch now. Linux Mint. He uses Linux Mint is an Arch user, but he's tutorial. He's operating system as well.
Have you seen this guy? Chris Titus
Tech, he covers Windows and Linux. Chris Titus Tech covers Windows and Linux.
Oh yeah, Chris Titus.
He does everything, doesn't he? Chris Titus Tech.
Yeah, he does everything. But have you seen this guy?
Linux channels are not active anymore. I used to like the Linux Tube because the Linux Tube made a comment on my channel. They said that we don't get we welcome you as a new user, and he wanted me to join live chat. And, he featured me on his Discord, my channel, the Linux Tube. But what's happened to him? Because I've not seen him for months, the Linux Tube. Alex, where did they go? Because Alex, the Linux Tube, and they had other users showing you different operating systems of Linux and that. What happened to him? Because he's not active anymore. A lot of them are not active anymore, are they?
Yeah, I see. Do you follow? I haven't seen this one. But do you follow this other guy? Hold on. I have it here.
The guy that used Fedora, he's not active anymore.
Just a Linux guy. He uses
Yeah,
Debian.
but he doesn't make many. He doesn't make videos very often. He's one of the ones I've subscribed to. Yeah, and he's one of them.
Yeah, but 5 days, 7 days.
There's quite a lot of Linux channels that I've clicked the subscribe button, but they don't all Learn Linux TV. But he's got nothing but praise for Fedora. I personally hate Fedora 43. Well, you can't use it. How can you like Fedora 43 if you can't use it? I can't. Fedora 43 is unusable, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work.
But I think
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
But I think he switched to Debian as his main one. Well, last time I checked, I don't follow him too closely. But
there's another one if you want a system D free. Have you heard of Dev1?
Dev1?
Yeah, it's like it's a clone of Debian, but system D free. But I don't see what's wrong with system D. It's not done me any harm. I mean, I think when I first started using Linux Mint in 2010, it had system D. I don't really know of anything else. So if you've only known system D, well, you wouldn't really know what it would be like not to have it, would you?
Have you seen this guy as well, Tony?
No, what does he? Oh, he does. Well, what about this switching to Wayland? That's going to be a problem. I don't like that. I really don't like that at all because is there anything that the new Linux users like myself, are we allowed to post our opinion on the forums and say that we don't want Wayland and we want X11? Can you please keep X11 in GNOME? Are we able to do that or they don't allow that?
Yes, you can, of course.
I mean, can we go somewhere on the forums and post our feedback? I'm happy with X11. I don't want it to go. I want to stay on X11. I don't want Wayland because Wayland doesn't work. So why don't we just Linux Mint? In his comments, he said that if it ain't broken, don't fix it. He said that he uses window managers, Linux Mint, or Linux Mint uses window managers, and he said a lot of them don't work on Wayland, and he needs the X11 for that. So a lot of people need X11. I don't use window managers, but X11 is very much needed. It's not just a question of want to use X11. You need X11. We can't live without it. We need X11. It's like removing Internet Explorer from Windows, removing X11. It's a part of Linux. X11 is a part of Linux, isn't it? How can they think about removing it? I mean, if Wayland worked and it worked better than X11, I wouldn't. It doesn't work, does it? It doesn't work, Wayland.
Yeah, so these kids don't know what they're talking about then.
I don't like it.
Okay.
I never use Wayland. I try and avoid it. And the reason why I want to use GNOME 49 is because it's Wayland only. But GNOME Flashback is X11. That's a separate desktop. So maybe they'll keep the GNOME Flashback so I can still use that in the next version of Ubuntu, eh? I can use GNOME Flashback in the next version of Ubuntu when it's LTS, can't I? I can.
And what about Matt? Matt is still around. He posts often.
He uses Gentoo and that. He uses a more advanced operating system, don't he?
Yeah. He's on Nix.
Oh, you know what I would like to see in Debian? Why don't Debian include the Mint Software Manager? I did a video on installing the Mint Software Center. I think the Mint Software Center should be ported to Debian because Debian and Ubuntu doesn't have the Mint Software Center. The Software Center from Linux Mint. So you have to install it yourself. And I've successfully installed the Mint Software Center on Debian, and it'll probably work on Ubuntu. So why don't they just port it to Debian so that we can install it from the package manager without having to download a load of dev files? Because it's a damn sight better than GNOME Software Center and Plasma Discover. I don't like either. I like the Mint Software Center, the only software manager I will use. Because before I was just using Synaptic, but now, and the driver manager. I successfully got the driver manager on Debian, because not that I need it because all my drivers are working, but it's handy to have, isn't it? Instead of searching for the package manager, but you can install that on LMD and Debian. But it's just a case of downloading a couple of dev files, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Mm-hmm.
And it works on I've been testing out Debian in virtual machine. All of the tweaks on Debian work in Debian as well, except that it's not system D, it's system Binet or something in it.
And did you ever see this guy, Terry, the one that created TempleOS? Did you ever watch his videos?
TempleOS. What the hell is that?
It's literally an operating system that someone created. Let me look it up.
Is it Linux? Is it Linux or is it something else or is it BSD? Because I tried it when I was thinking of maybe trying FreeBSD because I thought, well, if everything goes Wayland only, that's using the screen recorders is going to be a problem. But I couldn't even get FreeBSD or any BSD operating system to install. When I tried it in virtual machine, it was all command prompt. I couldn't even install any of the BSDs that I tried. I couldn't install FreeBSD or the BSD, so I won't be switching to BSD because I can't even install it, can I?
I would.
I know him, Linus Tech Tips. He's the one who installed popos. And when he installed Steam, it uninstalled his desktop. That was a bug in popos. I don't like popos. I think it's overrated because when I installed popos, I didn't like the pop shop very much. And it's bundled with Flatpaks, which I didn't like. And when I changed when I installed another desktop environment, you know, it did. But when I wanted to uninstall GNOME from popos, it blocked it. It wouldn't let me do it. So you can't replace popos with the Mate desktop because it won't let you. So you're stuck with the Mate desktop and the GNOME desktop, two desktop environments you don't want. I mean, you can have more than one desktop environment, but I like to have one desktop environment at a time. So say I changed my desktop environment from KDE to XFCE. I'd uninstall the KDE and keep the XFCE, but I mean, on my laptops, I've got different desktop environments. This one's got GNOME Flashback. Laptop's got Budgie. The pink laptop hasn't got anything on it because I haven't installed anything on it. And the fourth laptop hasn't got anything either because I did have the Trinity desktop on Debian SID, but unfortunately it nuked the whole desktop because when I installed the Trinity desktop, I couldn't change. The Trinity desktop is broken. I thought the Trinity desktop might be a good replacement to avoid Wayland because Trinity Desktop's X11, but there's still, you can install Trinity Desktop by adding the repositories to Debian, but there's bugs in the Trinity Desktop and it just breaks. Because it's based on KDE3 and they're using very old libraries. Even though it's meant to be updated, it's TDE. They call it TD, Trinity Desktop, based on KDE3. They're using very old libraries from KDE3, which is not used anymore. And I guess they're importing all of the bugs that were in KDE3. So I know you get a desktop that looks like KDE3. It's not updated. They should update everything to work on modern hardware, and it just doesn't. You know what I mean? Long story short.
Hey, Andrea, people in the chat are asking, they want to know, do you do YouTube for a living? Is that what you do or you do something else?
No, I don't earn any money from it at all, no. Can I tell you what I find most annoying about YouTube? The advert. Because many times I'm watching a video on Linux and I'm just going to get my cardigan. It's a bit cold in here. I'm going to change my jumper and maybe put something around me because it's quite cold in here, isn't it? So, yeah, it's cold. I didn't put the heater on because it'd be too hot, but that's better, isn't it? But you know, what's most annoying about YouTube is I'm trying to watch a tutorial or Linux, and in the middle of the tutorial, I get rudely interrupted by an advert, and then I keep thinking, and I get so angry. I think, oh, I'm not going to play your game. I don't want to listen to your bloody advert, and I turn the sound off until it's gone because there's no way you can get rid of the advert. You click on it and you can't get rid of it, and sometimes it will play two adverts. And then when I try to click go backspace to the video because I've missed what he was saying because it was interrupted by the advert. Another advert plays, even though I moved the mouse cursor back to where he left off before it was rudely interrupted. Another advert plays, and then sometimes 2 or 3 adverts come on all at once, and like every few seconds you're interrupted by an advert. How can you watch a video if you're constantly being interrupted by the advert? I don't like that. Do you? I hate that. You haven't on here, have you? Because how people are going to listen to me if I'm going to be interrupted every few minutes with a stupid advert, you know, that no one wants to listen to, and I don't want to listen to.
Yeah, I got used to them already. I watch ads, and I'm like, okay.
They never used to have adverts on YouTube. You could just watch the whole video and not have adverts. I'm not monetized, so I don't have adverts on my channel. No.
So you don't make money out of YouTube then?
I don't make any money at all. I don't get. No, it's a free channel. I don't get paid for what I do at all. I mean, YouTube is a free platform. You go on it, you make a channel, but you don't get paid. You don't get paid for it. No, you don't get paid.
Okay, so
I
now,
don't get paid. I don't get paid for it.
okay, but you don't want to get paid from it, right? Or you do at some point?
Who would pay me? Why would anyone pay to listen to my videos? I'm not that good, am I? Who would pay me?
Did you activate the monetization on YouTube?
I
Or
don't want. I
you
don't
don't
really
want
want
to?
on my channel anyway, so I wouldn't like that, to be honest. I remember when I used to have a daily Mokum channel, even though I didn't get paid for it, they just put adverts on the channel. A lot of video channels do, don't they?
Yeah, because when let's say that you show ads just at the beginning, at the end of the video, not in the middle.
What do I want ads on my videos for? What the hell for? I don't want that.
Oh, because
Why?
yeah, you have a point. Okay, so you just
Why?
don't want it.
If there was ads, then people wouldn't be able to watch the video. How can you watch a video if you're constantly being bombarded with, interrupted by ads every few seconds or every few minutes? I mean, the ads are they're getting really annoying now, because if it's just an ad at the beginning of the video and then it doesn't play again, it's not so bad, but I don't want ads at all. But sometimes you're watching a video and without warning an ad comes on, and then you wait for the ad to finish, and then you click the back, and then you move your mouse cursor back to listen to what the man was saying before you were rudely interrupted by an advert, and then another advert plays, and then you do the same thing again because you can't remember what the man was saying in the tutorial or whatever, and then another advert plays. It's getting ridiculous now. It's getting frigging ridiculous. The adverts are just nothing but annoying. It drives me mad. I hate them.
And do you want to share with us what do you do for a living, or you want to keep that private? Up to you.
I don't work. I don't work. I don't work. I'm not able to work. Just I don't work.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
able.
Okay.
I'm not well. Not able to work. I'm not well.
Oh, okay. Because you could remove the ads in the middle, so that only when you start the video and when it ends, you could show an ad and remove all of them in the middle.
Even if we're logged in, the ads just come up. We got no control over it. But the ads just come up. There's no way of stopping it. They just
YouTube.
come. They don't even give you a warning. They just come, and that's it. The ads.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you have a point. What time is it where you're at? It's like 2 a.m., right? At what time do you go to bed?
Well, sometimes I don't sleep. I don't fall asleep at the right time. Difficult to sleep at nights.
Uh-huh.
It's quiet at night. You're not disturbed at night, because during the day you're sort of disturbed by postmen knocking on your door and people going in and out. I'm in a block of flats, you see, but it's quieter at night. You feel more relaxed at night. Sometimes you got to be awake for the postman or parcels coming and that, or workmen coming. So you're more relaxed at night, aren't you?
Okay. Is that when you record the videos at night?
Yeah, because I'm not you don't get disturbed at night.
Makes sense.
It's quieter at night, isn't it?
Oh.
Isn't it night where you are?
Right now it's 8 p.m. where I'm at. And where you're at, it's 2 a.m. Is that right?
Yeah, it says 2:05 on the clock there. Yes, it does.
Okay. Do you want to stop the call here? Do you want to end it here?
Yeah, I didn't really offer much very technical advice, really, did I? Well,
you did. You did. Awesome.
Is, about these other operating systems. Why use other operating systems like Fedora or Arch or Gentoo when Debian and Ubuntu-based Linux provides everything that you need? Because
just Debian. Debian is the king.
Windows, and even for experienced users, I think a Debian, Ubuntu, or a Debian-based operating system. The thing is with Ubuntu, the only thing is you have to have snaps, don't you? You have to have snaps, and you can't uninstall it. But I mean, if you're someone that doesn't mind snaps, I mean, it's all installed for you in Ubuntu, isn't it? Or in other Ubuntu-based operating systems like popos, or maybe some others like ZoranOS, they come with both the snaps and the black packs. But the Debian-based operating systems, some come with black packs, some don't, depends. But with Debian, you can install snaps and flat packs if you want, and even if you change your mind, you can uninstall them and no harm done. But I'm saying with Debian and Ubuntu is better because I think it's more secure. There's more packages, more deb packages. And also, they have more graphical applications. They have a lot of graphical applications for the new user, if you see on my channel, that a lot of people don't even know about, so you don't have to use a terminal. But Fedora doesn't have that, and Arch certainly doesn't have that, and I don't think Gentoo or the others would have that. But
what do you think about Gentoo and the
I've never
furries? Have you seen the furries?
tried an OpenSUSE. I don't know about Gentoo, but I was thinking of OpenSUSE, where they had the Zapper package manager. But all right, when I did the command in the terminal and looked at it, it works similar to Ubuntu and Fedora. But I thought, what's the point? We got Debian, we got Ubuntu. What's the point? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Debian is the king. So, in summary, Debian is the king.
Debian or Ubuntu, either on a, well, if you don't want Snap, then use Linux Mint, because this is what a lot of people don't know. People say Linux Mint comes with Flatpak. The truth is, yes, it does. But if you don't want Flatpak in Linux Mint, you can uninstall it. I know, because I started off on Linux Mint. I've done it myself. When I was using Linux Mint, the Ubuntu-based Linux Mint, and the Debian version of Linux Mint, I used to uninstall Flatpak, and I would just have deb packages, and the software center and everything on Linux Mint still works. So, I mean, you know, you can uninstall Flatpaks on Linux Mint, and it doesn't break the operating system. And you know, you can, but on Ubuntu you can't uninstall Snap because it's baked in, and on Fedora you can't uninstall Flatpak for the same reason that you can't uninstall Snap from Ubuntu, is because it's baked in. But it's just what. But with Linux Mint you can, and just have it as deb packages. And with what is it? With Debian, you get a choice. You don't have to have snaps and Flatpaks if you don't want them, but if you want them, you can just add them. You know what I mean?
Now,
got app images as well, which you just download from the web. You don't need a package manager for that. You just download the one you want from the web, the software you want.
Now, what do you think about the furries? Have you heard about the furries? Because there's a lot of Linux users that wear these suits. These suits are called fursuits.
I don't know. I've never heard. I don't know anything about that. Sorry.
No, you don't know anything about it? Because I don't know. It's very popular in the Linux community. So, what would you say to the young Linux users that like wearing these suits? Do you think it's cool?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you only just told me about it. I don't know what to say. I don't know really. I've not seen walking around the street in those suits.
Oh, okay.
Not where I live.
Okay. Now, Andrea, I really appreciate the time that you shared with us. Let me tell you how long we've been here. You said that you wanted us to stay here for like
a lot. You see, the thing is, I talk and talk and talk. People say I talk a lot, and I keep people on the phone a long time, and I keep people in conversation a long time. I do talk and talk and talk. That's what people have told me.
But that is awesome. I really appreciate everything that you shared with us.
We didn't cover anything technical, really, did we? I mean, I just wrapped it on.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of technical stuff. You shared with us that
about me. I'm not a computer tech. I mean, DistroTube is an expert. Linux Mint isn't. I mean, Linux Mint. That's how you pronounce it. Linux Mint is an expert. Chris Titus Tech. You know, that's a good channel if you want. If you want advice on how to get the best out of Windows. Brightech. I want to mention that Brightech is a good channel. You know, Brightech 209, because Brightech does videos about Windows 11. He tries to make the Windows 11 is a disaster, but he tries to make the best of a bad job, because he tries to offer support for Windows users who want to stay on Windows to try and get the best out of it. But with Windows 11, that's not easy, because Windows 11, there's a lot of things you can't do on there, and it's not an operating system that's easy to use like Linux Mint. But he also does videos about Linux. Brightech has been doing a lot of videos about Linux. But
what's the channel?
But if you want any advice or tutorials about how to use Windows 11, because you can't use it if you ever want to use Windows 11, Brightech is a good channel to watch, because he has a lot of useful tips and tricks of how to get the best of Windows 11 and get the best
one?
out.
This one?
He's been going for years. Brightech, yeah.
Oh, okay. I found it. Okay. So it's Windows related stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if you have to choose, then which one is your favorite operating system, Windows or Linux?
Well, I used to like Windows when we had Windows 7. When we had Windows XP and Windows Vista, I used to like it. But, of course, that's gone now. We can't use it. It's end of life. But My favourite operating system now is Debian, second Linux Mint, but I won't be using Windows. I've never used Windows 11 and Windows 10, and I certainly won't be getting rid of Linux for Windows. I won't be switching to Windows 11, so I'm here to stay on Linux, so I'm going to be using Debian or Linux Mint. I don't know of any other operating system that the good thing, that's the good thing about virtual machines. I've discovered Virt Manager, and you can test out operating systems in virtual machines, which means you can test it out in a virtual machine before you install it on your computer. There is another way, and that is to boot the live CD. And you should always do that anyway, because just because it works in virtual machine, it doesn't mean it's going to work on your computer. So even though you try it out in virtual machine to get an idea of it, you should always boot the live CD before you commit yourself to installing it, because once you've wiped the drive, that's it. Although, of course, you can put the old operating system back. But, I think Debian is best, I think that seems to be the best one. It seems to suits me better. Linux Mint, but what I would like to see on Linux Mint is a minimal install, because with Linux Mint, you get a lot of software like media players and other things you don't want. Ubuntu has something called a minimal install, where you just get the Ubuntu GNOME desktop, and then you install your own media player, your own Office suite, your own Paint program, and your own. Linux Mint doesn't have that. With Linux Mint, you get a choice of Cinnamon, Mate, or XFC, but it will install the whole lot, everything. So if you don't want Celluloid media player or some other media players they have, or the XApps, you spend about an hour unpicking all the software and then installing all your own. So with Debian, I just installed a minimal desktop like Cinnamon Core, Make Desktop Environment Core, and then cherry pick the software I want. That's how I do it. GNOME Flashback is a minimal desktop anyway, so it installs a full desktop, but it doesn't come. Well, the media player I select myself. It comes with some other things, but I don't mind gedit because I like gedit. Gedit's fine.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay, Andrea, any final words that you want to share with the audience so we wrap it up? Any final...
If you're going to switch to Linux, I think the best one for a new user is Linux Mint, because that's where I started. That's what got me into Linux, because Linux Mint has a lot of graphical tools, and also Debian for new users. But if you're going to install Debian, install the full desktop environment, but don't install from the live CD, because they say the repositories are missing. But if you're going to install Debian, use the net install, and when you get to the installer, where it asks you which desktop environment you want, you have a choice of GNOME Flashback or XFC, tick the desktop you want. So if you want to install Cinnamon, you select Cinnamon from the net install. Or if you want to install just GNOME Flashback, you select that from the net install. Or if you want to install KDE, you select KDE from the net install and do it that way. So if you're going to install Debian as a new user, download the net install, and you get a graphical installer, and then they ask you which desktop environment you want, select the desktop environment, and then that's it.
Awesome. Any final words?
I'd say it doesn't matter if it's the Ubuntu version or the LMDE version. You can either install LMDE or the Ubuntu version. There isn't any difference, because they're both exactly the same, except one's based on Debian, one's based on Ubuntu. But both versions of Linux Mint are the same. There aren't any different, not in my opinion. They're the same. You get the same graphical tools and everything you do. And you can install the driver manager on Linux Mint LMDE, because I've tried that as well. That tweak works well.
Okay. Yeah. Any final words on Fedora?
Fedora 43, I'd say give it a miss. If you're thinking of trying Fedora 43, I'd say give it a miss. Well, when you install it, you'll see it's not working. You'll have the same experience as I have. Well, I made a video about it, so you'll see that.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to leave your channel in the video description so all of these guys can go and subscribe. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I just have a few. You have way more. But really appreciate your time.
I didn't even know that you wasn't a Linux user until you told me. I just assumed that you did use Linux. Because
I scammed you. So you got scammed.
I think I saw you on DistroTube, because I was watching DistroTube and you did an interview with a Mac user. I think that was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was me. I was also on Brody.
You're that Mac user that was on DistroTube. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was me. I was also on Brody.
So why don't you use Linux? Why macOS? Why don't you use Linux? Why not Linux? Why are you using macOS? Why aren't you using Linux?
Okay, let me try to explain. Give me 1 minute, okay? And I will...
Why not Linux?
Okay, so I started in macOS at my previous job, and I just got used to it. And I got so used to it that I don't want to migrate away from it. But I will at some point, eventually in the future.
Well, I thought
Maybe.
that most workplaces use Windows 11 or Windows 10. I didn't think they had macOS because in England, most of the offices and the workplaces, they just use Windows 10 or Windows 11 or even Windows 7 because a lot of places don't want to update, do they?
Yeah. But at my previous position, since I played around with a lot of servers and all that stuff, they didn't have an option for Linux, but they did have an option for macOS. So they said you have to use macOS. So I used macOS. I got used to
I
it and I
wouldn't know
liked
where
it.
to start. If I had to use macOS, I wouldn't know where to start.
You get used to it. The terminal is pretty similar. Your
I didn't think you
commands.
had to use the terminal in macOS. I thought it was like Windows where you downloaded software from the internet, no?
It's pretty similar to Linux. You have package managers. There's a package
You
manager
can
that is called.
download software from the internet on Linux. Of course, you can download software from the internet on Linux. Not many people do because they prefer to use the package manager. But I mean, downloading software from the internet is second nature to me. I think nothing of it because when I was on Windows, if you want to install software, the only way to get software is to open a web browser
Oh
and
yeah.
download it from the internet. Because I
Mhm.
mean, you do get software from Microsoft in the Windows Update, which is Microsoft software, but very, very few. We did get Windows Live Messenger. And I think we got Microsoft Silverlight or Internet Explorer, but that's all we got. If we wanted anything else, we had to go on, we had to open up our web browser and download from the internet. And we used to have to use Internet Explorer. So if Internet Explorer didn't work, then you had it basically. Well, I think they use Microsoft Edge now. I think they've got Microsoft Edge and Internet Explorer. I don't know if they still got Internet Explorer 11 or if they're using Microsoft Edge now on Windows 10 and 11 because I haven't got Windows 10 and 11. I didn't even get as far as to look around Windows 11 because on my new laptop, when I looked at it, I couldn't even get around the desktop. I couldn't do anything with it when I couldn't navigate or do anything. It wasn't a proper start menu. It was worse than Windows 8, Windows 11. I couldn't use it. I hated it.
Yeah. No, but it's I will try Linux. I installed
I wasn't
Arch.
very far on Windows 11 at all. I couldn't even turn the computer off. It was terrible.
Yeah, just faded.
If
Okay.
I had to use Windows 11, I'd feel very bad. I wouldn't like it, and I don't like Windows 10. Windows 7, if I had to use Windows, but that's gone now, isn't it?
Yeah, Windows 7 is gone. XP is gone. XP was good, but
Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 2000, Windows 98, where are they? Why don't they bring them back? Why don't they
yeah,
bring them back
like in the
and
old
get them out?
days, right?
Put
The
them back on
golden.
the shop so we can use. But they won't work on this computer. They're too old, aren't they? They're probably too old, aren't they, to work?
They work,
You can
but
install them in virtual machine and play around with them there, yeah?
yeah, they work, but probably your browser is not gonna work that
You can
well.
install them in virtual machine and just play around with them there, but in virtual machine then. But that's about it.
Oh man. Okay, Andrea, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time. And
Thanks for having me.
thank you very much.
So when will this be live?
I'm sorry?
When is this going to be live on YouTube? Or
This is
isn't
gonna
it?
be live. Today is Tuesday. Let me think. Tuesday on Friday. I'm going to edit the video and I'm going to post it on Friday. Let me ask you something. Do you want ads or no ads in the video?
I don't want adverts because we're going to be interrupted. How are people going to listen to me if we're getting rudely
Okay.
interrupted by
Okay.
adverts? I mean, how
Okay.
are people not going to listen to us if we're going to be interrupted every 5 minutes with adverts? They
Okay.
can't listen to us, can they? And that's
Okay.
that puts me off of watching many videos because sometimes when I watch a video, because of the adverts, I just turn it off because the adverts just drive me crazy. They drive me mad, They drive me
Okay.
mad.
Okay. We're gonna remove the ads in the middle. No ads in the middle at all. Okay.
Or won't
So
be ad, or I won't be at all. Anyway, what is your job? Are you an office worker? Do you work in computers? What is your job anyway? Are you working in IT?
currently I am a network engineer. I work with network equipment,
For
basically.
Microsoft or work for Mac or do you work for Linux or what?
No, I work on Windows, actually. I work on
You're on
Windows.
Microsoft work. So you
Ah.
you work for Microsoft.
No. I don't work for Microsoft. I use Windows. I'm sorry. That
You're not
got
on
mixed up.
Microsoft.
I
So
use
you're
a
not the one that
Windows.
invented Windows 11. You didn't invent Windows 11 by any chance, did you?
No. I use
Horrible.
I use Windows at my current job, but I have to go into network equipment like routers, switches, firewalls. I have to go into devices and and do stuff in there, you know. But yeah, I'm a network engineer at the moment. But yeah, thanks, Andrea. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna release the video on Friday, and I'll share it with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, folks.
Bye, chat. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.